Hello everyone, Tutu Mora here with the Y, bringing you tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. So today we're gonna be doing some side lying glute work. All you'll need is a yoga mat and a pillow or a yoga block, which is what the pillow is supposed to mimic, but anything that's going to help keep your head in alignment with your spine. So go ahead and grab your props and I'll see you on the mat. Okay. So let's start. You can pick a side here and you can see how I'm using the yoga block. Now, if you're lying on a mat, I'd encourage you just to, with your hand, feel for the edge of the yoga mat. Now, many of us, when we lie on our side, we kind of curl up as we would to go to sleep, but I want you to see if you can find your posture by lining up your spine with the side of your yoga mat. So take a second and find that posture. Find that space now also where your hips are stacked one on top of the other and your shoulders are stacked one on top of the other. And so this is the posture that we want to strengthen. So this is what we're going to hold on to while we now work our glutes. So I'm going to have you bring both legs bent here. And that top leg now, you're just going to bring it up to the height of your hip. So this is going to be the bottom of where we're going to work, and we're going to raise and lower that leg. Now before we start, I want you to take a second and just, as if you could suction that femur head, that leg bone into the back of your hip socket here. And if you'd like, you can place your hand on your hip bone, and we're going to raise and lower. Just raising and lowering that leg. Now if you want to straighten the leg out to do this, you're more than welcome. Now if you have a straight leg, take a second and reach through the heel of that foot as you raise and lower. And you want to keep those hips stacked. So as you raise, if you notice you're crunching up on one side, maybe don't come up as far. And so keeping that stacked position as you raise and lower. So let's do this a couple times. And now if you don't have your leg stretched out, feel free to stretch it out. And we are going to walk that leg forward and then take it back a little bit behind you. But only so far as, again, you can keep that pelvis stable. So walking that leg forward and then taking it back. Walking it forward, taking it back, and we'll do that 2 more times. Forward and back, forward and back. Now from here we'll take a little rest, so go ahead and bend that leg, resting it down on the other. Hopefully you can start to feel those glutes waking up a little bit. And you're going to bring that top leg back up to the height of your hip. And you can either leave it bent or you can straighten it out, but we're just going to create little circles here. So if you've got your leg bent, it's going to almost be like you're drawing a circle with your knee here. But again, keeping that stable pelvis, those stacked hips. So we're just drawing those circles. Again, suctioning that leg bone into the back of the hip socket, and now we're going to reverse that circle. Couple more revolutions here. And then we're going to rest that leg back down again for a little rest, taking a nice deep breath all the way down the length of your body as if it could come out those sit bones. And now you're going to glue those heels together and we're going to take this into a clamshell. Taking about 5 sets here, so we'll do 3 more. Again, only opening that clamshell as far as you can keep your hips stacked. So what we don't want is for you to open that torso with your legs. So we only want the legs to open. Everything else remains stable. And now, taking a tiny little rest here, we're gonna bring those shins up. And then we're gonna, again, take 5 more clamshells. 3 more. and resting back down. Taking a small break here. We're gonna do one more thing on this side before we move over to the other side. So, straightening that leg out, give yourself a little flex of the foot and you're gonna reach through that heel, bend the knee, bringing your knee in towards your nose before then reaching straight back out. Reaching through that heel, knee in towards the nose. Let's do this one more time. Reaching out through the heel, knee in towards the nose, keeping that movement controlled as you rest that leg back down onto the mat. So let's take this over to the other side. And you may notice that the sides feel different from one another, which is normal. So let's just be open to this side being its own experience. Now, before we start, taking a second again, just to align your posture to the edge of the mat, making sure those hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. And we'll start by reaching that leg out to the height of the hip. Now you can also have your leg bent here and just lowering and raising and lifting. So the hip height is your bottom. And making sure to reach through the heel of that foot as if your heel wants to make contact with the wall that would be right in front of you or below you if you were walking on the ground. Now holding that here, we're going to bring the foot forward and then take it slightly back. Again, only coming as far as you can keep that stable pelvis. So what we don't want is for you to lean forward here as you bring the leg forward or to lean back as you bring the leg back. We want to keep this space stable as you move that leg. And if you are not able to go as far on this side, that's okay. Just letting it be what it is. And then you'll go ahead and rest back down. Give yourself just a little break here, taking a nice deep breath all the way down the length of your torso. And then you're gonna bring that leg back up and we're gonna make the little circle. So whether you have your leg straight or bent, just finding that motion. Again, letting that leg bone be suctioned back into the back of the hip socket. And reversing directions. Resting that leg back down just for a moment. And gluing the heels together so we can open into that clamshell. For this one, it's always helpful to have a hand on your hip bone just for a little extra accountability and checking whether or not those hips are staying stacked, whether or not that pelvis is staying stable. So we're taking 5 here, we're gonna take 1 more, and then lifting those shins off the mat to take 5 more clamshells. Resting back down. So our final movement here, you're gonna stretch that leg out long, reaching through the heel before you bring that knee in towards the torso. Reaching out long, knee in, and 1 more time. Now slow and controlled to bring that leg back down. So we're gonna flip over onto our back. You can rest that pillow aside, you won't need it again. And we're just going to finish with a figure 4 stretch here. So crossing one leg over the opposite thigh, you're just, as you're able, going to bring your legs in towards you. So you may not be able to reach through, but if you can, just to deepen that stretch. Holding and breathing, really letting that breath come in wide, all the way down the length of the torso. And if it feels good, you can also rock this a little bit from side to side, deepening that stretch. But use this as, you know, with all these videos, use this as an opportunity just to see what feels good for your body today in this moment and honor that. And then we will take this to the other side. Now, of course, remember, you may not have an equal range or amount of flexibility on both sides of your body, which is normal. And so, if it feels good to rock this from side to side, play around with moving this closer or away, or further away. And then you can go ahead and rest those feet back down onto the mat. So that is our 10-minute workout for today. I hope you enjoyed and found this supportive. And I'll see you back here next time with more tools to help you feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. Take care.